Good afternoon, students. Welcome to all today's live class. Today I am going to discuss about the chapter Why Do We Fall Ill, part 4. As I have already discussed in our previous class, the different type of disease: acute disease, chronic disease, acquired disease, congenital disease, infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Now I am going to discuss what are the difference between infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Infectious disease are those type of disease that can spread from an infected person to an healthy person, and these diseases are caused by some biological agent, that means pathogens such as virus, bacteria, fungi and already single celled animals, that is protozoa. And what is pathogen? Disease causing microorganisms are known as pathogen. Clear? What is pathogen? Disease causing microorganism are known as pathogen. For example, virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa. They can spread. They can rapidly spread from one person to another by various means of transport. For example, water, air, food, insect or vector, or by physical contact. And these infectious agent, that means virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, all are infectious agent, and these infectious agent may be unicellular or multicellular organism that can cause are called infectious agent. The unicellular or multicellular organism that can infection are called infectious agent, and these are also known as pathogen. Clear? What are infectious agent? The unicellular or multicellular organism that can cause infection are called infectious agent, and these are also known as pathogen. For example, virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, etc. Some common infectious disease. Organisms that can cause disease are found in of categories classification. For example, disease caused by virus, common cold, influenza, dengue, etc. Disease caused by virus are common cold, influenza, dengue. Disease caused by bacteria, typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis. Disease caused by fungi, many common skin infection, all are caused by fungi, and caused by protozoa, malaria, kala-jar, worms also cause a variety of intestinal infection. These are the example of disease that caused by different type of microorganism. Clear? You understood? Disease causing microorganism that can cause different type of disease caused by virus, for example common cold, influenza, caused by bacteria, typhoid, cholera, caused by fungi, many common skin infection, and worm also cause a variety of intestinal infection. So what are the difference between or non-infectious disease? Infectious disease are also known as communicable disease, and non-infectious disease are also known as non-communicable disease. So first difference is, in infectious disease they are caused by attack of pathogens, disease causing microorganism, but in infectious disease they are caused by factors other than pathogens. Non-infectious disease are caused by factors other than pathogens. Infectious disease, the disease are brought about by external or internal factor. The disease are brought about by external or internal factor. But in non-infectious disease, most of the disease are brought by internal factor. Most of the disease are brought by internal factor. In case of infection, this disease can pass from an infected person to an healthy person. But non-infectious disease cannot pass from one person to another person. In infectious disease, community hygiene can reduce the incidence of infectious disease. But community hygiene is ineffective. Community hygiene is ineffective in reducing the non-infectious disease. Clear? This is very important. What are the difference between infectious disease and non-infectious disease? First of all, infectious disease are caused by attack of pathogen, but non-infectious disease are caused by factor other than pathogen. Second point, non-infectious disease are brought about by external factor. Infectious disease are mainly brought about by external, but non-infectious disease are mostly brought by internal factor. Infectious disease can from diseased person to healthy person. Non-infectious disease cannot pass from one person to another person. And infectious disease, transmission of infection, transfer of infection or transmission of infection occur through direct contact or some medium. In case of infectious disease, transmission of infection occur through direct contact or some medium. Some medium means air, water, vectors. But in non-infectious disease, transmission is absent. Transmission is absent. In case of infectious disease, community hygiene can reduce the incidence of infectious disease. But in case of non-infectious disease, community hygiene is ineffective in reducing the incidence of non-infectious disease. And example, infectious disease, cold, cholera, malaria, chickenpox, these are the example of infectious disease. And non-infectious disease, diabetes, hypertension, these are non-infectious disease. Now there is a question, why is it important of categories of infectious agent or infectious disease? For any infectious disease, why is it important of these categories of infectious agent that can transmission the disease from one person to another person? Because categories are important factor in deciding what kind of treatment to use. Categories are important factor in deciding what treatment to use. Members of each group means maybe virus group, bacteria group. Members of each group have many characteristics in common. In virus group, characteristics are common, and also in bacteria group, many characteristics in common. And the same drug will not work against group belonging to a different group. Same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a different group. That's why it is important of these categories of agent. This is an important factor in deciding what kind of treatment to use, because the same drug work against a microbe belonging to a different group. That's why it is very important to know what kind of treatment, what kind of microorganism that cause the disease, because member of each group means virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, members of each group have many characteristics in common. So the same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a different. There are different agents, bacteria, fungi, some unicellular animals, that means protozoa, and some disease are also caused by multicellular organism. Some disease are also caused by multicellular organisms. For example, different kind of worms. These are multicellular organisms. So these are also caused by multicellular organism, as well as unicellular animals also. Some are unicellular animals, for example protozoa, and some disease are also caused by multicellular organisms such as different kind of worms, and the members of these have many characteristics in common. For example, disease caused by virus, that means common cold, influenza, common skin infection are caused by different kind of fungi. Protozoan cause many familiar disease such as malaria, and worm also caused a variety of intestinal infection. Worms, multicellular organism, and can cause a variety of intestinal infection. So all virus live inside host cell. All virus live inside host cell, but bacteria, virus, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly, but multiply very slowly in comparison to virus, bacteria and fungi. Virus, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly, but worms multiply very slowly. And these many biochemical process inside their cells are similar. Many biochemical process inside their cells are similar. As a result, drugs that block one of these biochemical mechanism in one of the group, for example bacteria group, drug that block, medicine that block one of these biochemical mechanism in one of the group will be effective against many other member of, but same drug will not work against a different group. Same drug will not work against a different group. The drug that block one of these biochemical mechanisms, one member of the group, will be effective against any other member of the group, but the same drug will not work against a microbe belonging to a group. Many biochemical processes inside their shell are similar. That's why it is very important, these categories of infectious. Now infectious disease, virus, bacteria and fungi caused infectious disease multiple very quickly, worm multiple very slowly. All viruses live inside the, all bacteria are closely related to each other than to virus. That means many important life processes are similar in the bacteria group but not shared with the virus group. Many important life processes are similar. Many important life processes are similar in the bacteria group, not shared with the other groups, means with the virus group. As a result, same drug will not work against to a different group. Clear? All of you clear? Now, what is antibiotic? Antibiotic are the chemical substance. Antibiotic are the chemical substance used mainly by microorganism. For example, bacteria, fungi. Antibiotics are the chemical substance produced mainly by microorganism at low concentration. They have the ability to inhibit the growth of other microorganism. They commonly block biochemical pathway important for bacteria. So what is antibiotic? Antibiotics are the chemical substance produced by organism at low concentration, and they have the ability to inhibit the growth of other microorganism, and they block the biochemical pathway important for only for bacteria. For example, penicillin. Many antibiotic warn many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one, and virus do not use these pathway. Antibiotic work against many species of bacteria, but virus do not use these pathway. That's why antibiotic do not work against viral infection. Antibiotic do not work against viral infection because antibiotic work against many species of bacteria, and these antibiotics commonly block biochemical pathway important for bacteria. Therefore, antibiotic work against many species of bacteria, and virus do not use this pathway at all, and that's why antibiotics do not against viral infection. For example, suppose you have a common cold and taking of antibiotic does not reduce the duration of disease. Instead, our body secrete an antiviral protein called to combat the virus of cold. Understood? Suppose you have a common cold, taking of antibiotic that does not reduce the severity of duration of disease, and instead our body secrete an antiviral protein called interferon to combat the virus of cold. Antibiotic biochemical pathways commonly block biochemical pathway important for bacteria. Virus do not use these pathway. That's why antibiotic do not work against viral infection. Antibiotic do not work viral infection because virus do not use the same pathway as that of bacteria. For example, common cold. Taking antibiotic does not reduce the duration of disease. Instead, our body secrete an antiviral protein to combat the virus of cold. Clear? All of you understood? Have you any problem in antibiotics? Have you any problem? No problem. Antibiotics. So what are antibiotics? Antibiotics are the chemical substance. Antibiotics are the chemical substance produced by microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, produced by mainly by microorganisms at low concentration, and they have the ability to inhibit. They have the ability to inhibit the growth of other microorganisms, and they are commonly blocked. They are commonly block the biochemical pathway important for bacteria. Commonly block the biochemical pathway for bacteria, and antibiotic work against many species of bacteria. That's why virus do not use this pathway, and antibiotic do not work against viral infection. Clear? Understood? Antibiotic do not work against viral infection because virus do not use the same pathway that of bacteria. Now next point is give two example of antibiotic. Example of antibiotic, one common example is penicillin. Another example is streptomycin. One example is tetracycline. These all are the example of antibiotics. These are the chemical substance produced by living organisms such as bacteria and fungi, and which can kill or stop the growth of some disease causing microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. All of you notice that antibiotics are produced by living organisms such as bacteria and fungi, and they can kill or stop the growth of some disease causing microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi. And some of the important antibiotics which are used for treatment of disease caused by bacteria and fungi, most common important antibiotics are penicillin, streptomycin, tetracycline, all are antibiotics. And the treatment of viral infection, is more difficult than that of bacterial infection. Treatment of viral infection is more difficult than that of bacterial infection. Each type of viral infection, each and every type of viral infection, human body produce its own antiviral protein. Human body produced its own antiviral protein. These are known as interferon. And this is released from the infected and dying host cell. The treatment of viral infection is more difficult than that of bacterial infection, because each type of viral infection, human body produced its own antiviral protein called interferon, and this interferon is released from the infected and dying host cell. On reaching the uninfected cell, the interferon makes them resistant to the virus infection. Interferon makes them resistant to the virus infection. Understood? each type of viral infection, human body produce its own antiviral protein called interferon, and this interferon is released from the infected and dying host cell. Interferon is released from the infected and dying host cell, and on reaching the uninfected cell, interferon makes them resistance to the virus infection. For example, influenza, hepatitis. Interferon have been proved to be effective in treating influenza and hepatitis because the treatment of viral infection is more difficult than that of bacterial infection. Antibiotics are used for bacterial infection, but in viral infection, each type of viral infection, human body produces its own antiviral protein called interferon, and this interferon is released from an infected and dying host cell. On reaching the uninfected cell, interferon protein makes them resistant to the virus infection, and these have been proved to be effective in treating influenza and hepatitis. That's why the treatment of viral infection is more difficult. Understood? Have you any problem? Okay. Now, there is a question. Why we are normally advised to take bland and nourishing food when we are sick? Why we are normally advised to take nourishing food, adequate food when we are sick? When we fall sick, one or more organ system do not function normally. When we fall sick, one or more organ system do not function normally. As a result, we lose appetite and do not have proper digestion and absorption of food. When we fall sick, one or more organ system do not function normally. As a result, we lose appetite and do not have proper digestion and absorption of food. Therefore, we are advised to take nourishing food during sickness, when we are sick. And such a food is easily digested and replenish our lost vitamin, minerals and other nutrients along with energy. Clear? Now next question. Why are antibiotics not effective for viral disease? Why are antibiotics not effective for viral disease? Antibiotics are effective against bacteria and other non-viral pathogens. Antibiotics are effective against bacteria and other non-viral pathogens as they block some of their biochemical pathway without affecting human beings. And viruses do not have their own metabolic machinery. They are very few biochemical process. Virus have very few biochemical process that can block viral multiplication, or antibiotics are not effective against them. Clear? Antibiotics are effective against bacteria, other non-viral pathogens, as they block some of their biochemical pathway without affecting human beings. Virus do not have their own metabolic machinery. They are very few biochemical process that can block only viral multiplication, and antibiotics are not effective against them. So this is very important question, why are antibiotics are not effective for viral disease? Because virus have very few biochemical process and they can block only viral multiplication. That's why antibiotics are not effective against them. Clear? All of you understood? Now next point is, what are the means of spread of infectious disease? What are the means of spread of infectious disease? Infectious disease spread from one person, one infected person to other normal person, other healthy person by various means of various method. First of all, by air, by water, by sexually transmitted, by vector. Spread of disease through vector. Vector means many animals which live with us and carry disease. These animals can transfer infectious agent from a sick person to another healthy person. These are the carrier of the disease, and these animals act as intermediaries or vector. Many animals that can spread disease from an infected person to a healthy person, and these animals are carrier of this disease or infection, and these are called vectors. For example, mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito are the vector of a disease called malaria. Female Anopheles mosquito are the vector of disease called malaria. In many species of mosquito, the females need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. So female Anopheles mosquito are the vector of the disease called malaria. Insect vector mosquito. In mosquito there are three types of mosquito: Anopheles, Culex, Aedes. Anopheles mosquito transmitted the disease malaria. Culex mosquito transmit the disease filariasis, and Aedes mosquito yellow fever or dengue fever caused by Aedes mosquito. Flies also are the vector of disease. Housefly cause typhoid, diarrhea, dysentery, cholera. So these are also called vector. Louse are also called vector. Rat flea are also called vector. These are the vector, means of transmission of infectious disease. Means of transmission of infectious disease may be of two types: direct transmission or indirect transmission. Direct transmission means contact with infected person, contact with soil, these are the direct transmission. But indirect transmission means through vector, through food and water, through air. These are known as indirect transmission. Means of transmission of disease, infectious disease, are of two types: direct transmission and indirect transmission. Direct transmission means contact with infected person, and contact with infected person or animal bites, these are direct transmission. And indirect transmission means through vector transmission, through contaminated food and water, transmission through air. These are the example of indirect transmission. All of you understood? Now you all must read the book thoroughly, and you will have an exam. I will send the worksheet again on your Google Classroom. By tomorrow you will solve the worksheet and send it in Google Classroom. Okay? Clear? I hope all of you understood. Okay. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.